How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are today going to be doing another video where we watch someone's kills and basically give them a few tips and stuff here and there, should we be able to. So the person that has sent these in today has said that he's just trying to see if there's anything that he can improve on, to see if there's any little things that they can do. I know that they can do PvM because they're doing ED2 and they are doing Ratchet today. Now, we'll start off with ED2 since we've already done Ratchet. However, if we have the time, if the video's not getting too long, then I will do Ratchet as well, seeing as I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to cover on each clip, seeing as this person definitely does know how to PvM. That being said, they do feel that I could add some value to them, so I figured, you know what, send me the clips, let's see what we can do, and let's see if we can add anything to this for you, and then see if we can give anything that's going to help other people as well. So without saying much more, if you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to get involved in something like this, send me a DM on Discord and we can get one of your clips in here as well, and we can do the same thing. Otherwise, let's have a look at these clips, shall we? Okay, so we have the clip here. As you can see, they have their relic powers up here for us to have a look at. So you've got Berserker's Fury, Persistent Rage, and Font of Life, which increases your health by 500. I'm wondering if you could change the Font of Life. I'm not sure if you can or not. I know nothing about archaeology. I don't know if you can do that with these or not. But if you could, Fury of the Small would be really good here because it's going to give you more adrenaline every time you gain adrenaline. It's just really good thing to have. I always like to take a look at your worn equipment and stuff first. I don't think we can see exactly your worn equipment because it's in this tab here, but we can still have a look at your inventory and try and figure it out from there. You've got your Overload, your Prayer Renewal, you've got I want to say that's a Spiritual Prayer Potion, and then you've got Restores. You've got Weapon Poison, Bruise, Selfish, and you've got Chinchompers, which I assume this is probably just your ED2 running preset. I think that's probably a replenishment potion. I can't see anything else in here that would be specifically ideal for you to bring, except Dominion Mines. But I'm going to assume you don't have Dominion Mines because they are useful as Blackstone Dragon, but if you don't have them, then there's nothing you can do about it, so that's absolutely fine. And you've got Vulnerability Bombs, which is good to see. You've got yourself a nice shield, and you've got your Ring of Vigor. And I'm going to assume this glaive is your Planted Feet because you don't have Greater Ricochet, so I'm going to assume that's just for your Planted Feet. Okay, so that being said, because you don't have Greater Ricochet, it's actually not ideal for you to be using Ricochet. It's obviously going to be okay for the run, but when you get to the dragon himself, it's not ideal to be using that. I'm not sure whether you're going to be using more or less full manual. Like if you're letting Revolution do all of this, then okay, maybe you want to take the Ricochet off once you get to bosses and swap it with something else. But if you are manually pressing most of the stuff, because you got your bleeds on the outside here and you've got your thresholds on the outside, so you may not even let Revolution do that much. So as long as you're not wasting Needle Strike or whatever it is on that, then that's fine. But if you are using Ricochet, if you're just letting Revolution use that, ideally you want to have Needle Strike and then your Snipe ability, because that's going to increase Snipe's damage by quite a bit. You've got all the good stuff like Limitless, and you do have a Dragon Slayer sigil thingy as well, so it's going to increase your damage on dragons, which I will be checking to see if you use, so I'm sure you will if you've got it. You look pretty much set up. Like I said, guys, this guy can PvM, so we're in for a bit of a treat here. I'm gonna have to look carefully to try and find some things here. I think we're gonna be challenged a little bit. Okay, so you are getting out some Spirit Weed sticks, which are the ones for the familiar, I believe. Yeah, it says they're the familiar ones. So this is gonna let your familiar use its spec more often. However, I do notice you haven't used. Wait, are you gonna do it now? No. Okay, so you should use also the poison ones because the boss can be poisoned. And what the poison ones do, I think it's Quorm. It is Quorm. So if you use the Quorm incense sticks, it will increase the damage of your weapon poison, which will save you a few seconds here and there. Well, it'll actually save you quite a lot of time. It'll do quite a bit of damage over the fight. So the incense sticks for poison, definitely worth using. If you're going to be using incense sticks anyway, you might as well use those too. There's your Vuln Bomb. Okay, there's your Death Swiftness. Waiting for the Adrenaline Potion. There's the Adrenaline Potion. Good stuff. Is there anything there that anything at all that I can even say about that? No, I think that's pretty much it. Oh wait, why did you use Debilitate? Okay, right. So I assume you're just a little bit scared of running out of food, right? I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, okay? Because like I say, we've got 2 bosses to look at, so we're gonna try and just sort of be a little bit quick with it today. And I know that you can do most of the stuff in here anyway, so once it's edited, it's probably gonna come down a little bit. But I want to see how much food you have at the end. You have plenty of food. You have plenty of food. You've used your brews. You've favored your brews more, which is what I do anyway. Of course, you don't want to lose the adrenaline and stuff. But you've got. Is that all the fish you started with? That's it, isn't it? That's all of them, is it not? You've used 2 fish. The whole fight you've used 2 fish. You do not need Debilitate. Don't use it. Just don't use it. So what you've done here is great. The initial starting thing, you've come in, you've used your Ring of Vigor, you've dropped your Death Swiftness, and you've done your Vuln Bomb and everything, and then you use your Adrenaline Potion, and you get yourself up to 60% Adrenaline, but the first thing you do is use Debilitate, which I understand you're probably just worried I don't want to run out of food, or maybe it was just because you knew you were recording this kill and you didn't want to die in this kill. But ideally, you don't want to use these sort of things when you're in Death Swiftness, because this is where you're going to output all your damage. So it would have been better here to use Snapshot, and then you could have even used Limitless and used Rapid Fire. That would have helped a lot, because you've got Limitless available. Use it in your Death Swiftness. But now here you've dropped down below 46%. You've got to use another basic before you can use a Threshold, unless you do use Limitless. You get Snapshot, you got Rapid Fire, and then you could have, yeah, right. So there's going to be such little petty things, right? I can tell, because you know what you're doing. It's clear to know what you're doing. But for this bit here, ideally with the Death Swiftness rotation, you're going to get a lot of damage out of this. This is where it's going to come from, I think, for your kill times. And it's going to be, as soon as you drop that Death Swiftness, just focus on DPS. Don't worry about like using Debilitate, all that sort of stuff. Just focus on the DPS. Ideally, what you would have done here is Death Swiftness and then a Adren Pot straight away. And then you would have used your Sigil, and then you could have used Snapshot, and then Limitless, and then Rapid Fire, and then Tendrils. Like, you would have got all 3 of those thresholds inside your Sigil, because you get 10 seconds on the Sigil, right? So if you use your Limitless here, you could have got all 3 of those in there, and that would have been a lot of damage. You actually may have even phased at that point. Okay, so you've phased through here, you're going through and moving away from the hand. Moving away to the hand to make sure you only get hit by 1 of these. There is safe spots, like a lot of people probably will say, but don't worry about it too much, it's not a big deal. There is something I have noticed, which I'm curious to see if you're going to use, and that is your Fragmentation Shot. If you use Fragmentation Shot, then good, but if not, then you are losing out on better damage. But the reason I'm asking this is because you don't have a keybind on it. You're manually using your Corruption Blast, but your Fragmentation Shot is not got a keybind on it, and it's not on your Revolution bar. So I think that may have just been left out, and I'm wondering if maybe that's an issue that you just not noticed. Maybe you didn't realize it wasn't keybind or something. This is really hard, by the way. This is really difficult for me to find some stuff here, because you're doing a really good job. Like, there's going to be some stuff that's just going to come with practice, like being faster between killing things and moving quicker and just using specific abilities in order is gonna come with time. But you're doing a really good job, by the way. So it is really hard for me to find anything to mention here. One thing I have noticed, and this is like kind of a perfect time for me to show it, is your adrenaline does seem to usually be pretty high. Now, if you are finding that you're always on high adrenaline and you're struggling to use it, I know you've got an SGB in the Essence of Finality at the moment, but it could be worth bringing a Dark Bow Essence of Finality if you can afford it. Because if you're sitting on 100% adrenaline a lot, you're wasting quite a lot of damage. So you want to ideally be using thresholds, like to drop that adrenaline down quickly. Like right now, you want to be using Tendrils and you want to be using Bombardment, just because it's higher damaging hits than your basics, right? But yeah, using thresholds there definitely would have been good. You may have been saving for Death Swiftness, actually. So what I would have done is, let's have a look. You used it till around about 36k. And then you could have used a couple more thresholds here to get through this a bit quicker. And it wouldn't have been an issue for you to rebuild back to 100%. If you have to do like a couple of basics on the dragon, that wouldn't have been too big of a problem. So you could have done that like now, and then you could have dropped your Death Swiftness. I assume you're going to Death Swiftness here. You can use your Adrenaline Potion here again, so I'm wondering if you're going to. Yes, and you've used your Sigil. Beautiful. And then you've used Rapid Fire, Limitless, Snapshot. Yes, good. And then you want to use Limitless and use more thresholds. You got all 3 off. That's fine. So all you could really do here is use that Limitless just to help you deal more damage. You had the Sigil on, so if you can actually get all 3 of those in there, as soon as you Death Swiftness, you should have done Adrenaline Potion, Sigil, which you've already done, and then Limitless, and just go crazy. But otherwise, it's fine. But you see how much damage you're doing with poison there? Watch how much damage, because you got Cinderbane. Watch how much damage you're doing with poison here. These here. Look at these hits. Look at these poison hits. If you'd use the incense sticks, all of these would have been increased by a little bit, and it does add up. Like over the whole fight, it would have added up a big amount. So definitely use those incense sticks here if you want faster kill times. Okay, but look at your food, dude. Look at your food. You've had like 3 brew doses so far. You're doing so good. Like you don't need to use Debilitate and stuff at the beginning. You'd be absolutely fine. Honestly, you're doing great. Okay, so here is another thing, and you may be aware of this, but I'm going to point out anyway, because like I say, you're doing a lot of good stuff, and it's difficult for me to find stuff to mention, and I don't want you to get to the end of this and think, well, I didn't really learn anything. So, just in case you didn't know, here you just use needle strike, needle shot, whatever it's called. It's been so long since we've used range, man. But if you just use needle, just call it needle, you've used that, and then that buffs your next attack's damage by a flat damage boost, right? But it will not apply to bleeds. So you'll use needle here, and then you'll use your bleed. Technically, like being all like specific, that's a lost, that's lost DPS. just to be specific and point something out that maybe you didn't know, is try not to use your bleeds after needle shot, because it is technically lost DPS. So here I would have used snipe, and then after that you could have put your bleeds on. Okay, and I think you can start attacking again now. There you go. You're gonna drop your death swiftness, adrenaline pot. I assume we'll do something similar to last time with this. Okay, you're not adrenaline potioning this time. I mean, people forget things, by the way. Like, anyone watching thinking, use your adrenaline potion, people just forget sometimes. I do it all the time, right? I probably, like, wouldn't even have overload on right now, but he's doing a great job. I have noticed you've used your spiritual prayer potion about once. You could be getting a lot more damage out of that too, if you just drink the crap out of that. Honestly, what I would do is just get rid of those restores and bring the spiritual prayer potions, but we'll sum everything up pretty much at the end soon. Okay, what, you got a personal record? Look at you go. That's brilliant. Any personal record is good. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds or 50 seconds, like, a personal record shows progress, and that's good. Okay, I mean, there's not much to say. I know I've said this like 10 times now. There really isn't. You're doing a great job, and I don't want to make out like there's loads. Oh, mate, you just need to get better. Like, no. Even though there is a couple of things, it's really not that much. The main things that I would like to suggest, really, you really need to use Fragmentation Shot. I'm pretty sure throughout this whole kill, you didn't use Fragmentation Shot once. If it's not keybound because it's by accident, and maybe you're pressing something hoping it goes off, but it's just not, and then Revolution's picking up the next thing, maybe that's a thing. But if not, and you've just sort of gone, it doesn't matter, I don't really use this much, doesn't do much damage, Fragmentation Shot's amazing. You want to use it. It is one of your better basic abilities, especially if you can walk the target, and the dragon can be walked, I'm pretty sure, so you definitely want to have that. Honestly, what I would do is probably take Ricochet off and put Fragmentation on when you're doing bosses. I can understand you wanting to use Ricochet through the room, but then at the same time, Fragmentation Shot works with chins as well. So if you are running the dungeon and you're not using Fragmentation Shot and you are using chins, is so big, man. You can put a bleed on everything at the same time, and then they walk it, and then they die. Needle Shot will also increase the damage of your thresholds. It will increase both hits of Snapshot. It will increase the first 2 hits of Rapid Fire, and of course it will increase the damage of Tendrils, assuming you don't hit max anyway. But it will not work on bleeds. So all this sort of stuff, like I say, is kind of nitpicking a little bit. But again, these are little things that are going to make you improve now. It's all the small little things. You use your replenishment potion here is one thing that I like to point out. You used it at the beginning, but you didn't use it on the last bit, so I assume you probably just forgot in all the madness, because you can take a lot of damage here, so I understand that you may have just forgotten. Then key binding that will make it really easy to remember. So where's your death swiftness? Your death swiftness is on G. So you've got death swiftness down here, it's on G. We can't see because of the freaking YouTube bar, which is just annoying as hell. There's a death swiftness down here, it's keybound to G. You could actually put the adrenaline potion on something like H. I know you've got your essence of finality on H, but if you had your adrenaline potion, the way I have mine is my death swiftness is on V, my adrenaline potion is on B. So when I death swiftness, every time I death swiftness, I will always press B. Even if it's on cooldown, it will just tell me that it's on cooldown, doesn't matter. But I force a habit, I will always use that. So it's just V and B, and they're both done. So you could do that, or just find something close. If you're not using T, I can't really see if you are or not, but if you're not using the keybind T, you could put the adrenaline potion on that. Just something that you can just get in the habit of pressing them both together. But I think by far the biggest thing that you could do to improve on is purely going to be your death swiftness rotations. I think this is where you're going to get the most increase in damage, and I think the way you're going to do that is by taking advantage of the limitless sigil, not using Debilitate, which I am picking on this so much, and I'm so sorry, but there's, like I say, you at this point, like you didn't need this. You used 3 brew doses by the time you got to the last phase. Yes, you ate a little bit in the last phase. That's going to be expected anyway, but you didn't need this Debilitate here. I don't know if you could have clicked this, right? you may have clicked this and then thought, what the frick did I just do that for? Like, why did I just do that? It could have been the pressure of recording, it could have been anything. But here, ideally, you wanted to death swiftness and then adrenaline pot and then just snapshot, tendrils, limitless rapid fire, go to town. That's pretty much it. Make sure you use your sigil, of course, but that's where a lot of your damage is going to come from. One thing I wanted to say, you do not need Dragonfire for this fight. Any boss fight in ED2, they don't use Dragonfire. I don't know why. I used to do the same. You do not need Dragonfire for any of these fights, so you can save yourself a little bit of money there. Alright, so I think there's not much else to say about the Blackstone Dragon. I am not an absolute pro at this boss fight anyway, so there's probably a lot more stuff that I could tell you if I knew more, but I personally, I think you're doing absolutely great, and it's just going to come with time on practicing rotations, making sure you're not missing certain things. Okay, let's take a look at Ratchet. Okay, it is Ratchet time. Let's have a look. I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say you probably don't eat any of these selfish, or even if you do, it'll be like one, and you're probably just gonna live off these blubbers in this fight, because I'm pretty sure that you're gonna be fine in this fight. I'm almost certain of it, damage-wise. I assume you're probably just looking for a little bit of extra DPS tips. So let's talk about this, but it's going to probably have a lot carried over from Blackstone Dragon, so this may be very quick once I've edited it up. We'll see what happens. I'm assuming it's going to be more down to the same sort of thing of your death swiftness rotations and all that sort of stuff, but let's just see what you do in this. There's the snapshot. You do have an SGB, which I would have used here already if I was you. Okay, so the reason I would use SGB straight away is the sooner you use it, the sooner it's off cooldown. And I know that sounds like the most obvious thing ever, but Ratchet is not a long fight. You can only really use SGB like 3 times, 4 times maybe, and you want to use that as much as you can. Because if you hit all 12Ks of that, you're going to be using a ton of damage. I assume you will use it pretty soon, but if you can get it in pretty quick, then it's good. Okay, there's your SGB, and it did hit pretty well actually. Okay, so what I would suggest here is, again, just working on the Death Swift rotation. You're on 680k. So what I would suggest you do here is literally throw out tendrils, throw out snapshot, rapid fire. You may get through. How close are we to the thing here? There's your tendrils. Did that splash? That's unfortunate if it did. Okay, it hit 3.8k. Damn. Look how close you are to skipping this though. You can definitely skip this, dude. 100% you can skip this. So again, it's just going to come down to your initial death swiftness rotation. Now, what I would suggest you do is literally the same thing. You want to come in, death swiftness straight away like you did. Adrenaline pot, needle shot, then use snipe. That's not a threshold yet. As soon as you use snipe, you want to use your SGB spec. The reason you want to use SGB spec before anything else is it's going to put you under 50% adrenaline, but you have limitless. So if you want to get all of them off, the ideal way is going to be to use SGB spec first, which is going to put you under 50%, and then it's going to be to use limitless, use snapshot, use rapid fire, dodge the spin, and then build up to tendrils. That will do a lot of damage while you're in your death swiftness, and that way your other stuff's going to be coming off cooldown by the time you've built your adrenaline back up, because you're going to be on really low adrenaline once you've done all that, but all your stuff's on cooldown, so it doesn't really matter too much. So that's ideally what you'd want to do. And if you do that, I am almost certain that you would have skipped this, because you are very close. I think you're probably like 620 when he does it. 630k. It would have been 30k difference. I guarantee it. It would have been. Okay, so phase 3, like, you're making good time here. This is fine. Like, I understand why you've sent it. You just want to see more DPS, but it is going to come down to your death swiftness rotation. But I'm pretty sure that you making sure you use your limitless and stuff in your death swiftness is going to help out like an absolute ton. Okay, you've got 9 anima so far. 10 anima. You're going to anticipate for the bomb. Okay, so this is going to save you 10 seconds maybe, which is 10 seconds is pretty good. You don't need all that anima. You don't. You need about 6 to 8 is good, probably. The reason that you don't need all that anima is you get diminishing returns. Yes, they all still give you that damage increase, but there is a damage cap. And with 14 anima, you're not getting that much more than if you had 8, for example. So the 8 will still get you to hit cap for most of the time, or pretty damn close to it. And you spent 10 seconds less picking all that up. You haven't run all the way around the room. But if you pick up all of it, you spent the time picking it up, and you can still only hit 12Ks and 10Ks. So it doesn't make too much difference. So that will save you a little bit of time. But other than that, dude, I don't think there's much else to say. I think you're doing a good job, and you are definitely, like, you understand what you're doing, and there's a lot of stuff that you are doing really well. The only thing that you need to do is practice. It's just practice. It really is. There's nothing really with your inventory. Your inventory is great. I said at the beginning, you would only use one sailfish. You've barely touched these. I mean, you may as well bring them. You may as well fill your food up, because what if a fight goes bad, right? I just like to know that I called it, that you didn't need that much food. So good job. So you're doing good, dude. Like, your Ratchet is fine. You can definitely get some improvements out of your rotations with your death swiftness. Same sort of stuff as the Blackstone Dragon, but that's pretty much it. It's going to be getting down to the death swiftness stuff. Alright, so after watching both the clips and going through those, I actually wanted to just do a quick sum up towards the end, because I know that with two of them, it may have been a little bit all over the place, and this was a really difficult one, because you are good at PvM. You are absolutely fine. You have some stuff you can improve on with DPS and stuff, but everybody does. I still do as well. I have massive improvement available to me for DPS, but honestly for you, dude, the main things that you could focus on is going to be your death swiftness rotations, making use of the limitless, and just making sure you get those thresholds out. At Ratchet, getting the SGB off sooner, and then using limitless and forcing out the other thresholds that way will also get you some damage and possibly allow you to skip the mage bomb. You were only 30k damage off, so give it a shot and it should work. I do feel like you could benefit a little bit from adding some keybinds for your couple of things that aren't keybound, like your adrenaline potion. If you can upgrade those to adrenaline renewals as well, that will help a little bit too, because any extra adrenaline is always good. But if you can keybind that with something near your death swiftness, so you can always use it without even thinking about it, that would definitely be good for the end of Blackstone Dragon, for example. You didn't actually use one there. One of the other big things is use your Corruption Shot, dude. Corruption Shot is really good. I know that you may think it may be small hits and it's not really worth using, but honestly, use Corruption Shot. It is a really good ability, and if you can walk the target after you've used it, walk the target. Ratchet's a really easy one. You just need to use Corruption Shot and take one step backwards. He will follow you in that one step, and then he will increase his damage that you're taking like a lot. It is really good. But overall, dude, you're doing an absolutely great job. I've said it 1,000 times, and I absolutely mean it, because this was a really hard one for me to find some stuff. So it may feel like I was nitpicking a little bit, and I had to, because, like I say, that's pretty much how it is. So I hope this video did add value to you. I hope it added value to anybody else watching as well. If you have any tips for this person, do leave them in a comment down below. Keep in mind, any toxic comments, you will just be removed from commenting on the channel again. So don't bother doing that. Leave some nice stuff, leave some helpful stuff. Just help people out, like help each other out. Anyway, guys, I hope this video did help. If it did, leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. If anyone else has a clip they would like to submit and have me go over, keep in mind that there is people that are better than me. I just know that if someone is struggling and they want to take that next step, and if they feel like I can help, then I will be more than happy to do so. Anyway, thank you all so much to my channel members. As a final note, I really appreciate the extra support. If anyone else is interested in joining them, click the join button by the sub button. But otherwise, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.